I used to be homeless. I used to sleep in alleys. In the wintertime, I was sleeping on church stairs. I shoplifted from stores so that I could have something to eat that day. I was declined day after day from shelters on a waiting list because I didn't have a child, so I wasn't priority. I didn't have warm clothes, and living in New Jersey, it was so cold. It was snowing outside, and I was literally wrapped in a blanket, sleeping in the snow. Many nights I thought I wasn't going to wake up the next morning, but I still got up the next day, and I hustled, and I went to the library. I picked up change off the ground so that I could be able to print out resumes and make me a resume. I went to the welfare office when I got my food stamps. They used to have a program where they would help you find a job, so that way you don't have to stay on government assistance. I don't know what's required of it now because I haven't had food stamps in many years. But at the time, that's what the requirement was. You had to try to get a job. I took advantage of every resource that I could find. I sat down with the welfare caseworker and I begged her to help me find anything that could help me get out of my situation. She sent me to work centers that would help with building my resume, and they would sit down and help me with interview skills. And every day I went to an interview. I spent my days sitting at the library and going to interviews. I started off with a few shitty jobs, worked my way up in those jobs, built my resume, and then started getting better jobs for myself. The point of me telling you all of this is because I am so fucking sick of people getting on the internet and talking about how desperately they need Medicaid and food stamps while they are able-bodied adults who can get the fuck up and get it for themselves. I was getting $7 an hour working at Payless, and I saved up every dollar so that I could afford me a down payment on an apartment in New Jersey. And I was 19, 20 years old at the time. Yeah, going through it. I struggled so hard every day that I was able to say this. I looked at myself and I said, when I get out of this situation, I will never go back. I'm just so sick of the excuses. Grown ass people getting on this app to talk and show how fucking lazy they are and how greedy they are and how entitled they are, that you feel every other American who is working really fucking hard to pay taxes and make a living for themselves should be funding your free life. No fucking way. I never wanted a handout from anybody. I worked so fucking hard to get where I am. I worked so fucking hard to never be homeless again. I remember at 20 years old, I walked into the mayor's office in New Jersey and I said, hey, I can't get into a shelter. Please help me. And the lady, the secretary, sat down with me and wrote me a letter to get me into an apartment because nobody would accept me. They had a program in New Jersey where you could get a one-time payment for I think it was $1,300 to get a down payment for an apartment, and I kept getting denied. I went everywhere and I went back to that place almost every other week to keep begging them to give me this deposit. Now, I saved up majority of my deposit and they basically just matched me. But that lady got me that deposit because I was so persistent. Y'all are just so fucking lazy. I'm tired of it. Shut up.